Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Yoders Farm. I'm Eldon, and I'm joined today, like normal, but not like the last couple of episodes, by my brother Lowell. So Lowell, welcome to the podcast.
Hey Eldon, thank you. It's good to have you back here and professional running all the equipment over there.
You did pretty good the last couple times. So.
As long as all I have to do is push an on and off button, I can usually figure it out.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too difficult. Now I'm hearing a little bit of feedback. Hopefully that doesn't show up in the recording. But anyway, so
feedback is always a good thing, I thought.
Well, not when it's...
only positive feedback.
Not when it's audio feedback. Anyhow, so it's, January 10th, and it feels like it's almost spring.
Yeah, as we record this podcast. It is January the 10th, and I'm not sure when you're going to drop it, but sometime here in the mid-January time frame. And yeah, I was just noticing that though we are basically still in the midwinter, it's already feeling a little bit like spring in the sense that everything feels like we're on kind of an urgent time scale. Something about when the you get the winter equinox and the shortest days of the year out of the way, and then the days start going the other way and increasing. It just feels like you're on there's this ticking clock. And
it seems like they go the other way a lot faster than they got shorter, I guess.
Maybe so.
I don't know if there's any scientific.
I forgot to even look. But I think most times the days are getting longer by a couple of minutes, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So like I said, it feels like we're kind of this clock is ticking.
Yeah.
And
it's warmer than normal.
Spring is coming, and though we are, like I said, still very much in the winter.
Yeah.
You know that it's imminent, and I guess from our point of view, we know there's a lot of things that have to happen before we're really ready for spring. I don't know if we're ever truly really ready for spring, but it just feels like that clock is ticking, and we're kind of right there. So it's it has been milder. This has generally been a milder winter, which has its own unique set of challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we always talk about weather, but weather does really affect farming. It just does when you're...
It's just the nature of growing things.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
So, a couple things that can cause you problems. Obviously, extreme cold, we're not really excited about that. That can cause its own issues. You can actually have some plant damage with outside crops that you overwinter outside, like strawberries.
Mm-hmm.
We take measures like covering them with row covers to try to mitigate that. But yeah, you can have definitely challenges with cold, and obviously heating. We talked some about that a couple podcasts ago, and of course, that gets a lot more challenging when it's freezing cold. However, when you have a mild winter and even warm spikes like we seem to be having this winter, that can have its own unique set of challenges as well. You really, like I said, with that ticking clock, you don't want to get things too far advanced, and because we all know that
you're talking about plant growth in particular.
Plant growth and different things like that. You don't want to get too far into that cycle and then have the cold. We all know we're not done with cold yet, and in fact we could have some pretty extreme cold. We've had some very chilly temperatures even the first part of March. So that's like I said, that can also cause some issues as well. So this winter it's been mild. There are a few things that are different about this winter than what I would say is normal. This is Virginia, goodness. We don't get that crazy cold.
We're not that far from Florida. Just kidding.
Yeah, so this is not unheard of. Sometimes we just have milder periods of time in the winter. But for example, this year we actually have most of the strawberries uncovered and have not covered them. Most of them all fall, winter. Now, in a perfect world, there would have been a few nights when a cover should have been on them, but you kind of have to weigh, labor and whether it's, bang for your buck, so to speak.
Yeah.
So if you had the ability just to, snap your finger, get the covers out, and then snap your finger and get them back off, or back to the row middles, probably should have had a few out at a few times, but it's not really been necessary. So typically we're covering up often. I guess the last number of years we have not been quite as proactive about covering if we don't need extra fall growth, to get the plants big enough for winter. We've not been as concerned about covering as we have probably when we first started growing. We realized strawberries actually are a little more cold hardy.
Yeah.
But typically we're covering up, by Christmas or in December or starting, you can cover half your patch. And anyway, the majority of our strawberries right now are uncovered, which is not normal. But part of that, the reasoning behind that is you throw a cover on, acts a little bit like a little greenhouse under there. You get these warm 60, pushing 70 degree days. Well, you're really
you're cooking underneath there.
I mean, you're not in dangerous territory as far as the plants are concerned, but like I say, you don't want to push things farther along than they already are right now. So noticing we plant grass between the rows to cause or to help with erosion.
Good catch. You almost said cause erosion.
Yeah, that's what we don't
tend
want
to work
to happen.
Against that as much as possible.
Anyway, it's not really. Typically, it kind of goes dormant at some point in the winter. Well, this is annual ryegrass, and I mean, it looks very green and lush, and it's actually getting too tall. So that, like I said, raises some issues. We'll need to knock it back, figure out what to do with that. You don't want it up shading your bed. So that's an issue.
Maybe we'll have less issue of sometimes it seems like some parts of the rows are just barren. Maybe we'll get a little more growth this year.
Barren, you mean from the ryegrass?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a pretty good stand this year.
Potentially some other issues there too.
On that. So that's something that's happened because this is a milder than normal winter, I suppose.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, there are some. It's not all bad either. It's not as challenging to heat the greenhouses. The tomatoes are really enjoying these warmer temperatures. You can really get that daytime temperature up there with the sunshine. These longer days. Seems like greenhouses really shine when it's February,
when there's more light.
March, and April. It's springtime, and the days are longer, and but you're still in that controlled warm environment. That's when you can really when the greenhouses shine, like I said.
In that case it's kind of your normal growing period might be a month or two beyond for the plant, so you're essentially just warming it up for them and giving them a good atmosphere.
And of course we're making preparations, like I said, for the busy spring and summer, trying to think about some things and maybe, take care of a few problem areas and get them addressed.
Out of the way.
When things aren't quite as busy. We're already thinking about our early summer heirloom house. We have plants ordered for that. I seeded actually some little tomato seeds yesterday for that, so we're thinking about that, even though it's we're transplanting in March and probably going to be picking them, and hopefully in May sometime. You got to
think ahead a little.
Got to think ahead and plan ahead. But it's funny. You just feel that. I keep talking about a clock, and that's really how it feels. It feels like we're still ticking slowly, but you're ticking towards spring. Yeah,
there's always a next season that is coming. And
and this it ratchets up probably every every month you get closer to, say, April, May, which is kind of when things culminate in busyness around here.
Yeah, and if we continue to have a milder spring, even that could majorly affect our starting date and season, I guess.
Right. I wouldn't be surprised February and March. You can also go the other way. If February and March are much below normal, well, suddenly everything kind of comes to a screeching halt, and you can't really turn back the clock as far as what's been pushed, new growth and so forth, but it at least can cause everything to slow down or almost stop that clock cycle. So we will just have to wait and see. Nothing we can do about it. We just got to deal with it and
work
roll
with
it.
what we got. Yeah, that's how it works. All right. Anything else we should add to this episode?
We talked a lot about tomatoes the last while.
Yeah.
This is, like I said,
the last couple of podcast episodes. Yeah.
They're looking good. Getting lots of new growth. There again, we're working on tomatoes for 6 to 8 weeks from now. So with our plants, we're thinking of kind of
notching them down and
getting growth up here. Things are looking good. These will give us tomatoes in March and April, and we really need a lot of tomatoes. So they're looking good. Cover crop we planted in the corn maze is looking good. It's enjoying these milder conditions. Other than that, we're doing chores around the farm, feeding livestock, feeding stoves, feeding ourselves. Pretty typical midwinter.
You're about to have a baby
things.
Here before too long. Well, your wife, I guess. But
she is
definitely on our minds too.
Yeah, she is due the first part of February, so that could.
Yeah.
I guess we're on a kind of a ticking clock in regards to that as well, right?
Yeah.
At least she would really like to get that over with.
Yeah.
As soon as it's safe for the baby to come, so that could happen here pretty soon.
Yep, that's definitely something on our minds too. So, all right, well, that's it for this episode. Thank you for listening. If you wouldn't mind, and if you enjoyed this, head over to iTunes and leave us a review and a rating. Supposedly that helps the podcast show up for other people.
I just always just told him do what you said.
I know.
Cut it off.
So we've had 2 episodes where you didn't say this. But anyway, if you want to subscribe, you can do that in your favorite podcast app. Just search for Conversations with Yoders Farm and hit the subscribe button. Or you can listen over on our website, and there's links there as well to subscribe in other places. So yodersfarm.com for pretty much everything, and that's it for this time. Thanks for listening.